Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in our bottom right hand side Sepplo, our red Masters Zerg, and his opponent Forsaken, our blue Terran in the top left. We are on Belshir Vistage. I just call it Vistage. Shh, it's a secret. Because I really don't know how to pronounce Belshir. Everybody says it that way, but Lord knows if we're right or not. It's a fun map, though. It's a very fun map. It's very chopped up, but you have plenty of wide open areas. The third is well within walking distance, and Zerg especially, this whole area, Zerg and Terran mech, this whole area becomes incredibly important and very strategic, though you do have that back door you kind of have to worry about. It's very clever. It's very neat. I like it a lot. Xel'Naga Watchtowers, the kind of supplemental pathway, is very underutilized just because as far as supplemental pathways goes, if you control either Xel'Naga Watchtower, it's really useless. I mean, doesn't really accomplish anything. It kind of cuts the rush distance in half, but you take a Xel'Naga Watchtower instead and you get a bunch of scouting, and it kind of, six in one hand, half dozen in the other. We're well past the 10 supply mark for Sepplo, so it doesn't look like he's going to be throwing down an early spawning pool. And as we've noticed so far, I don't know what order I'm going to be posting these in. However, this is the fourth game from Forsaken that I have cast today, and this barracks being thrown up is very much the norm for him. This kind of not traditional location for that barracks allows him to get the Reaper out kind of hidden, kind of let him sneak it in through the back door, kind of make the Zerg a little bit more vulnerable. I didn't realize until just now that every game that I've cast today has been Terran versus Zerg, and that blows my mind. That's actually pretty cool. And I'm learning quite a lot about the matchup. Is this going to be outside of the range? It is not. That's weird that he would position it in an area that the drone can totally scout it. Traditionally, I thought that the drone was just going to come up and avoid hugging the wall of the supply depot, making it a little far to the right and make it so it couldn't see that barracks, but instead the vision of the drone comes into play right at the top of this blue portion rather than over here at the top of the actual ramp, so the barracks does pop up and he sees it immediately. So yeah, I don't really know what is accomplished by putting the barracks here rather than over here, which is another pathway for the Reaper to pop down. Actually, no, that's a double jump for the Reaper. I think it has to pop down here and then pop down here. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not 100% familiar with this map as far as Reapers go. I play Zerg in real life. We have a hatchery down at the natural. The spawning pool has also been started. We switch over to the production tab because that's always a fun thing to look at. Both of them are going to be starting at pretty much the exact same time. Command center being thrown up on the low ground. 400 minerals saved up for Sepplo. Is he going to be getting a third, or is he just going to be getting 2 queens in rapid succession? It is 2 queens. By the time I finish that sentence, it's been revealed. The Reaper does indeed pop up into the main base, scout out that no gas at all has been grabbed just yet, so a bit of a change up from the other openings that we've seen from the Zerg so far today, signifying that he probably wants to take a very early third, really wants to get that drone production kicked into overdrive. He's already starting up on the saturation on the low ground, but because the rush distance is just a little bit smaller than Neoplanet S, a little bit smaller than Daybreak, the Reaper did manage to get into the both of the mineral lines really before the queens pop out. Queens just now popping out, but that Reaper escapes, not taking any damage at all, having a fantastic job of scouting. You switch over to the economic tab, we can see the 26/21 for the harvester count, and that money is just flowing in right now for Zerg. 3 drones on the production tab. Back at home, oh, nice. Hurry, man. I wonder how long he was paused. Barracks beginning to throw up a reactor right by the factory. Interesting that he repositioned the barracks over here to complete that wall off. Even, I don't know. I think it might be that Forsake just doesn't know that this place is scouted by the drone when it comes in. You could easily throw it here and maybe you'd lose a second of the Reaper timing thing, but you'd still accomplish the whole hidden shenanigans. Same way. It's no real big difference. Factory beginning to work on its 2 Hellions. Command center, macro command center being thrown up by the main base, and the tech lab being thrown up on the barracks. Very standard, very traditional coming out of Forsaken now. Now that we've past the 6-minute mark, see the Roach Warren being thrown down, as well as double extractor. We're probably going to see a third one being thrown down at the natural. sooner rather than later. Maybe he's going to be waiting for this hatchery to finish so that he can work on the saturation just a little bit more. 6 more drones on the production tab. We can see that the economy for the Zerg is absolutely booming, especially considering the 3rd mineral line that he's about to be accessed. But with that macro command center back at home, Forsake is going to be able to macro very successfully off of just the 2 bases, and he's now got those 4 Hellions out. That is traditional for him to move out. So yeah, Forsaken is going to be taking a bit more of an aggressive posture. Creep spread has begun though, so he's going to have a very hard time pushing in, especially whenever you factor in the decision to throw down the 2 Evo chambers down by the natural. But with the 3rd finishing in just a couple of seconds, the Hellions do have a prime target to target down. We see only a single Reaper. Traditionally, Forsaken has opted to get 2 Reapers. Has he lost one? He has lost a unit, and it's worth 100 resources, but is that 1 SCV and then he lost a structure, or is that a Reaper worth 50 minerals and 50 gas or something like that? I don't know. I don't know. It's probably a Reaper. It's probably a Reaper. I don't know. But with the creep spread now connecting the 3rd to the natural, the roaches that are out on the field will have no problem with rebuffing this. This is far more successful in pushing back Forsake's harassment than we've seen out of the other games. And, you know, this could definitely be a problem for him because normally he can sit back and relax with his Hellions having nap control, but with those roaches out on the field and the creep spread so very intimidating already, only at the 8-minute mark, he's going to have something to worry about. But what we do see is totally silent is the Evo chambers. They haven't done any research at all. We don't have Zergling speed even started yet. And that's a major problem for Sepplo. He's going to have something that can combat the speed of these Hellions. And right now he's going to be relying on creep, he's going to be relying on roaches, but eventually that's going to get outstepped by the starport and the production of medevacs. So Sepplo might have a leg up right now, but it's quickly going to unravel as the creep spread begins to get too far away for the roaches to defend, as the medevacs start to make an appearance. But with the addition of 2 extra extractors bringing the grand total to 6, we're probably going to see a Spire in a relatively short amount of time. The roaches pushing in, finding the Hellions just a couple of seconds before Forsaken can control them. 2 of them do go down. +1 armor has begun. It still has about 100 seconds left to go. +1 on the way for ground infantry for Forsaken, and both of them have about a minute. Going to be waiting for the combat shield too, but Stim is already done unless I am mistaken. I am not. There she blows. Stim already done, and man, that is quite a lot of gas. What is he going to be doing with all that extra gas? Sepplo is throwing down an infestor pit, which is interesting. Usually I see the Spire get thrown up first, but he elected to get the roaches up earlier, so I think he's playing for a bit of a late game composition. He wants to get that hive up very speedy. Maybe he wants to get those those infestors out too, so that he can accumulate a lot of energy, throw down a bunch of fungal growth. I don't know. I don't pretend to know. Metabolic boost also being produced, and now we see the upgrades are beginning to hit full stride. We see the Baneling nest coming out. We see the 3rd being taken for Forsaken, so both players are kind of sitting back, being very confident and relaxing back on their macro mechanics. Forsaken moving out with a very small complement, but with 2 medevacs, this could quickly turn deadly if he manages to get a drop in the main base. There goes the hive. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is going to be brutal. Hive already being constructed down at the main base super early. Pretty much skipping the entire Tier 2 deck in favor of those roaches. Those roaches walking right past the small strike force. However, they have exposed themselves by stepping onto the creep. There goes the scan, exposing a couple of the creep tumors. But with speedlings now out on the field, a couple of banelings finishing up. Here comes the hot pickup. Will they pick off and go into the main? Handful of queens and zerglings remaining there, but no, he's electing to actually stand and fight, losing the vast majority of his forces. Only 2 medevacs escape, on only one of them actually full. A really bad engagement for Forsaken, losing quite a lot of resources. I would have loved to have seen him pick up once the majority of the force sandwiched him in here, and then boost down here. Even just to see the hive alone would have been a really nice play for him to know that he's going to be up against some very high tiered units in a relatively short amount of time. 3 infestors on the production tab. We see the 4th is being grabbed right now, as well as a wall off beginning to be constructed over here on the right side. A great play by Forsaken, because from what I've seen, Forsaken really likes slugging matches. He really likes to only focus on one engagement at a time, maybe sending off a drop into a corner, but the drop is minimal as far as splitting his attention. He's really a lot better whenever he has a Widow Mine kind of minefield to fall back upon that he can abuse with Marines and then just fall back on it. Oh, beautiful fungal growth going down from Sepplo, but with nothing else to finish it up, even though those Marines are incredibly weak right now. The Zerglings arriving just in the nick of time to cover them up. We have an Ultralisk Cavern on the way, as well as adrenal glands. Those Zerglings are going to be incredibly intimidating in a very short amount of time. Man, it's crazy to see an Ultralisk Cavern on the production tab when he's still on just 1-1 for the weapons upgrade. That is absolutely crazy. Man. So many medevacs moving out from Forsaken, though, and this Marine force, while very weak whenever you face them with Banelings, remember these Banelings are slow. Centrifugal Hook's not quite done yet. Ultralisk Cavern not quite out yet. +2/+2 not out yet. +2/+2 is going to be out for Forsaken in just a matter of seconds, but it doesn't look like he's waiting for it. He's pushing in, going to be taking out that Spine Crawler and then attacking that hatchery. Here comes the enormous red blob coming from the right and a green blob coming from the Infestors, throwing down some really nice fungal growths. Really good unit control there from Sepplo, getting the surround and dealing a death blow to all those Marines, forcing the retreat by those medevacs. Those medevacs were a bit out of position to support those Zerglings. However, Forsaken has succeeded in taking his third. His economy is booming. His infrastructure back at home is spilling out of his main base into his natural. He's accomplishing everything he needs to do with this harassment, and he successfully completed a minefield in front of his main base. These Zerglings, what are they going to do? They can't run in there. They lose at least half of the force in the initial wave of Widow Mines right then and there. Are they going to swing over here and actually harass this place? Well, they're going to have to either go through a minefield or a minefield with some supply depots. One way or another, it's definitely going to be hard for Sepplo to take the fight to Forsaken, and that's okay because Forsaken looks like he wants to take the fight to Sepplo. He's moving out now. The Zerglings are just grossly out of position on the left side. However, only thing going to be going down is a factory on the right side. Back at home, all the tech is squatting here. The Hive, the Ultralisk Cavern, so much, so very exposed right now. We don't see the stem. We don't see the units being focusing down the Ultralisk Cavern. However, the Ultralisk Cavern has taken a little bit of damage. At the same time, the main force from Forsaken is pushing down to the left. All he's going to be doing is taking out some of the gas income, but that's two bases. Oh no, this one got canceled and then started again, or did it even finish? I'm not 100% sure. Ultralisks popping in to save the day now that the hatchery has died, forcing the hot pickup, and the medevacs once again retreat. But Sepplo is quickly allowing this match to kind of spiral out of control. Forsaken is almost maxed. So is Sepplo. He's got +3/+3. Sepplo, I think, is just on +2/+2. He hasn't even started +3, but he does have that chitinous plating. Those Ultralisks are incredibly intimidating. Oof, brutal. 11 kills. Yeah, those Ultralisks are incredibly intimidating, and the adrenal glands done on the Zerglings are no joke, but he's got medevacs waiting in the wings pretty much everywhere. Sepplo feels cramped. He can't really afford to push out and do any harassment of himself. He wants to do a direct engagement. He wants to just raffle stomp this entire Marine ball, but he can't because this map is just so large, and Forsaken is hitting him in all different corners, denying bases constantly. The Marines pop in on the left side, take out that hatchery, and then promptly retreat. Look at them. They stem just to run away. This is absolutely fantastic. A great decision to pick up the medevacs. There goes the Spire quickly whittling down as that there is no creep to keep it alive. It looks like another drop going off into the top right hand side, doing minimal damage to the hatchery, and then another drop going down into the bottom left. Sepplo is going to get to the point where he's just so frustrated that he's going to be moving out and start doing damage. I think that's what is happening. Oh man. Oh no, because of his frustration, he's not allowing himself to micro any of his Zerglings, just allowing them to pool in. The Baneling hits though. Oh my goodness, so many workers killed. 37 down in the favor of Sepplo, and the Corruptors are going to town on that orbital command, but at the same time, Forsaken is keeping up the commando strikes, succeeding in taking down the hatchery in the bottom left, as well as forcing the reconstruction of the hatchery in the top left, and now only on 2 mining bases. The third one is not saturated at all. The economy for the Zerg is just paltry in comparison to the one back at home, and then back at home, Forsaken has just a massive standing army waiting for Sepplo to try to actually stop him, just try to push in, and it looks like there's going to be an attempt at an intercept, but Forsaken has stemmed, and there's absolutely nothing to catch as everything has already run away. This handful of straggling Banelings are going to go down. It looks like the rest of the standing forces have been cleaned up by the Speedlings back at home, and Sepplo is finally stabilized, but at what cost? I mean, he's really far behind in as far as economy goes. 43 over 43 is never in a comfortable situation, but just keep in mind that really the only mining base is this one. It's got all the orbital commands. It's got a lot of economy. He does have a planetary on the left side, but that's one that Sepplo can take away at a moment's notice. There's no surround on these Marauders. They are just shelling down that hatchery, but even with no surround, the adrenal glands on those Zerglings make them incredibly potent at taking them down. And now Sepplo finally has the rhythm. He pops right, deals with a drop there. Now he's coming back to the left to deal with a drop there, and there is a drop there. Forsaken dropping off quite a lot of Marines. Oh no! What is this? How did he get vision of this? There's another huge force moving in here from Forsake. Forsake is going to be poking in, taking out that hatchery once again. The Zerglings and Ultralisks are ponderously moving in to intercept, but the hatchery has gone down. The damage has been done. Forsaken moving in once again, 198 over 140. So much money left over for Sepplo, but he just doesn't have the hatcheries up to produce the larvae necessary to produce the units. That's got to be so incredibly frustrating for him. He has the money unit composition. He just needs a direct engagement, and Forsaken is denying him that privilege. Looks like all these Marines and Marauders are going to go down, but oh, will they get the cancel on the hatchery? No, they do not. Another strike force moving off down to the bottom left. Oh, but a massive engagement. This is what Sepplo has been waiting for this entire time. But at 199 supply and 132, I think Forsaken's going to be able to kite back all of these Zerglings into the minefield. This is exactly what he wanted this engagement to go, making it so it's incredibly cost effective for him, making it so that those Zerglings have to walk over the minefield, take a lot of additional damage. Oh, Sepplo, if only you knew about this hidden base right here. You think you've got this well in hand because you've got the Overseer within range to see if there's any mining going on, but you don't. You don't have it well in hand. You have an enemy expansion right here really going to town on all those minerals, making quite a lot of money, keeping Forsaken in this game. If this base had been locked down completely, Sepplo would have this in the bag, but he doesn't. He really doesn't. He has to contend with this enormous force, and I think Forsaken realizes that it's time for him to move out and actually end this game with a force large enough to actually meet Sepplo's in battle. Oh no, they finally found it. The Ultralisks are going to be moving in on that planetary fortress, but with so many SCVs there to repair, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a base trade on the bottom right, and then the third for Forsaken is going to go down. So many SCVs just getting cut to pieces by the AoE. Switch over to the resources. Lost tab 59 workers killed to the 51, but the main force of Forsaken presses ever onward down into the natural. Is going to be taking out both Evo chambers and the hatchery. Oh no, targeting straight onto the hatchery. They need to get up there and deal some damage to the tech, but if they push too far in, where are the medevacs? There's only a handful of medevacs because the Corruptors have been so successful at whittling down those numbers. Here comes the Ultralisks, but in the choke, these Zerglings, these Marines really will be able to do quite a lot of damage, but man, they're Ultralisks. They do so much damage in and of themselves, pushing forward, finally crushing out all of Forsake's army, but Sepplo is down to 84. Forsake is at 108. 23 harvesters over 20. Only a single mining base between the two of them, and the natural is pretty much mined out. Only 4 workers here at one time. The Ultralisk Cavern has gone down, though. Infestor Pit and Roaches remaining, and that's okay because he's got quite a lot of gas. He can afford to spend a lot of money on the infestors. He's got a couple of corruptors out dealing some damage to the straggling medevacs. Switch over to just the sheer number of units on stage. 20 Marines, but 15 Widow Mines, and Widow Mines are going to be incredibly cost effective in the coming battles because the Ultralisk Cavern's down. He's not going to be able, Sepplo's not going to be able to produce a lot of the units that counter those Widow Mines. Maybe those Roaches. Those Roaches don't die from one hit of the Widow Mines. It takes 2, I think. Those drones popping out really needs to save this base, really needs to save this base. Who cares about the main? Who cares about the natural? Even though the natural does have a little bit. Wow, look at all that money left over there. I wonder why he wasn't mining from there as much as he is mining from over here. Maybe because of the constant harassment, he just didn't have all the drones necessary. But Sepplo still has a large standing force, and if that standing force has another direct engagement from Forsaken, both units are so incredibly starved right now. They're both even on supply. This is incredibly tense. However, Sepplo is spread thin. The turtling Terran really only needs to defend this large chunk. He only needs to defend a quarter of the infrastructure he has because he can't afford to produce off of him. He really needs to defend this orbital being produced on the right side, but the majority of the units out on the field for Zerg cannot fire up. Only the Corruptors to deal with that. And honestly, that orbital will take quite a while to go down from just those Corruptors. Another massive hit from the Widow Mines. Oh my goodness, these trundling Ultralisks. Even the Ultralisks can't last forever against such a hail of fire coming from those Widow Mines. Oh my goodness, that is so incredibly devastating. Where is the Overseer? Oh man. It looks like Forsaken is moving in for the kill with so many Marines and Marauders. Oh man, finally Sepplo has the economy up and running. Finally he's getting that detection. He's got a lot of minerals saved up right now, but does he have any larvae at all? He's got 9 larvae. Where's the unit production? Where is he remacroing? He can't rely on these Ultralisks. They've taken quite a lot of damage already. Here comes the strike once again from Forsaken, moving in, targeting down that hatchery. It looks like all the workers have been pulled already. That hatchery goes down almost instantly, but the Ultralisks are positioned to move in. But with no Zerglings there to deal any surrounds, he's going to have to rely on the fungal growth. There goes one fungal growth. The Widow Mines are firing off. Another beautiful fungal growth. Forsaken's army is going to completely melt away, but so are all the Ultralisks. Only 2 Ultralisks remaining alive on field, and a handful of roaches. Oh, I did not realize the spawning pool had gone down. I wonder if that was a supplemental drop or a drop that actually happened in the first one. I knew the Ultralisk cavern went down, but I guess I wasn't paying very close attention to that one. Couple Vikings out on the field, just dealing a death blow to the Overseer, realizing that the third is up, but Sepplo does not have a standing force that's capable of taking them down, and he needs to re-macro, producing another hatchery on the right side and another hatchery on the left side. Does he have enough drones to mine off of that? I have 42, yeah. Yeah, he'd be able to mine off all of them with just one more round of units, but with the standing force of 2 Ultralisks and 3 roaches, I don't think he can stop even this drop from going down in the main base. And if he takes out that spawning pool once more, that is going to be absolutely brutal for him. Okay, look at this. Look at this long distance mining. This is brutal. Oh man, some Zerglings popping out. Will they be able to at least hold back this drop for a short period of time? No, it looks like they're going to be targeting down the Infestor Pit instead. Nope, going to town on the Zerglings, forcing the hot pickup, but once again, Forsaken pushing into the left side, just doing some massive damage. Finally, Sepplo has had enough, realizing that he just can't keep up with this constant pressure, and I wonder why. I mean, he's got so much money. I would have just loved to have seen him throw down a handful of hatcheries, and then just mass produce roaches or something like that and go for a push, because those roaches would be able to weather that minefield, and they would be able to get into that main base, and the roach base was so very spread out, he'd be able to do a monstrous amount of damage before he'd have to retreat, or maybe he'd manage to take out the entire thing. I honestly don't know. I think this was a really tight game, and I think Sepplo just barely lost. Just absolutely barely lost. Very well done for both players, though. Very well done indeed. Thank you for submitting this, Forsaken. I deeply appreciated the whole pack. I casted them all, I think. I think I might have one more to go. I don't know. I'll check. If you guys have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Ibigandscary. Bye.